Might sound like a retirement dream to travel the United States in a motor home, but our next guests are super young. They just thought a mobile approach was a great way to live.
That's right. Then COVID happened and their journey stopped. So now this young engaged couple live and work full time in a 23-foot Airstream. Joining us with some tips on living with less are Heather DeSantis and Austin Holmes. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good to see you both.
Absolutely. Let's talk about what made you guys decide to set out on your mission to travel the U.S. in an Airstream first. I know you're kind of quarantined and stuck now, but at first your choice was to really travel around and go to as many states as you can for a very specific reason, right?
So absolutely. So when Austin and I first started dating, we knew that he had another deployment ahead of him. And we wondered, what were we going to do when he was out of the Navy? I spent so many years working tired hours, building publicity for good. He was getting out of the Navy, and we thought, what a better time than to pack up our things and hit the road to tour our country. Really, the why behind it is we wanted to see all 48 states, but we wanted to figure out where we wanted to live. We weren't just going to settle where our parents were. We wanted to feel like this was home. So we set out on the road to really figure out where we wanted to live after Austin got out of the Navy.
That is so cool, and I think so unusual. You're living, obviously, in this 23-foot mobile home, but what about working? Because along the way, I'm guessing you have to make some income.
Yeah. So one of the amazing things that we had the privilege of already having access to was Heather's business. She had a remote team from the very beginning of starting her publicity agency. And that enabled us to travel full time while still working, building the business. And it's kind of led to the only change we've done to the Airstream, and that's adding a stand-up desk. And Heather loves using it.
It's amazing. Especially with COVID, I'm sitting at that desk about 15 hours a day, but I love it. Like
wow.
right outside of our window is the French Broad River. So
if somebody wants to downsize and they want to work from the road, what kind of advice can you give someone?
I would say definitely do your planning and be prepared for the logistics that go into it. Before we stopped traveling because of COVID and the restrictions, we probably spent 10 to 15 hours a week planning and just driving. So it does take a significant amount of time.
Are you surprised?
And I think with that too, like as a couple being in a tiny Airstream, like it's not always perfect. So like you have to put things in place to get along. Like Austin and I meet for coffee every morning. And it's our morning time together and we talk about our intentions. Like things are different. You have different stresses when you're confined in a smaller place.
Yes, I bet. I bet a lot of people find it interesting that you use the word meet for coffee, which I think is adorable. Are you surprised and I'm guessing you're still getting married, so that says something about your relationship. But
Yeah.
Are you surprised at how little you actually need to live?
We have video of this. So it was harder for me. Literally, before we downsized, Austin moved all of our clothes to Texas. I mean, I had all my high heels, all my makeup, all my purses, and it was emotionally hard for me to let go of. But now, literally, we have room to really stress about bigger things. So instead of stressing about what am I going to wear today, we really have time and space to plan for our future. But it was not easy at all.
I had a bit of an advantage being in the military and being used to a 6x2 bunk, and that's all the space I had in the world. So I
think it's incredible when people see the sort of space that you're living in. But you probably get outside more and do more outdoors, which we know is good for us. Is there opportunities that you see in this? Because it's like you're living this retired life, but you're so young, and people don't really need to wait to live that kind of lifestyle.
Absolutely not. Everybody's seeing that remote work is doable right now. And I'd encourage people, our country is beautiful. there's so many opportunities out there to go see cool stuff, to do whatever it is you're interested in, whether you're like a foodie or you like hiking or just, seeing a different part of this country. I think that's good. Seeing the other side of things.
Mm-hmm. I'm dying to know how long you plan. And I know the virus has kind of like made things has changed your plans. But I'm wondering how long you plan to live this way, especially if one day you want to have kids, because that seems like a really small space then.
Gosh, so it's a struggle, especially if we're under lockdown for months ahead. Before COVID, it was great. We would go to the local coffee shop once a week. We would go into town. We would go hiking. We would get to explore. Now we're living and working here 24/7. So we are considering to do things a little differently. Do we buy 10 acres of land and live out of the Airstream and then build a barn? We're definitely rethinking everything. Airstream will always be a part of our life. Maybe instead of traveling every other day, we'll go on adventures over the weekend. Big picture, I think this will always be my office, even if we have 100 acres. I love the Airstream. I've had so much love and stress and tears in this place that the Airstream means so much to us. We actually have a name for her. Do you want to tell the name?
Treya.
It's Treya.
She's Treya.
So
I love
Well,
it. I think
we
you guys are doing great. It's a really cool thing. And I know where can people learn more about you and follow your journey and everything that you're doing?
Yeah, so you can find us on social media at Heather DeSantis. Also, we have a YouTube channel where we are starting to share everything of behind the scenes, which is A&H Adventures, or you can find us at publicityforgood.com. And really, it's an exciting time for you because you can create the life you want with you and your family with, I think, a huge purge that's currently happening in our country.
It's so cool. It was such a pleasure to meet both of you. All the best to you both.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.